What's good, my dudes? We back in the saddle with another YouTube banger, and today I'm talking about gold card prices in Skyweaver. We did this last month. We did a little market update. I kind of had fun with it, so I'm gonna do it again. Um, just gonna talk about where the prices are going, where I think they're going anyway, and where they've been. The first thing I want to talk about is the main, I guess, theme of the week, which really has been bots. Sadly, there was a huge boost in the number of bots that were playing Conquest this week. I think it was largely due to a guy named Feronis. He kind of like changed the incentives a little bit, and anyone who had some bots to run, they definitely went ham this week with them. Um, a lot of bots. We went from an average of 1,000 cards minted per card to something like 1,500, which, unless there was a huge increase in Conquest players, which I'm kind of skeptical there was probably, it probably looks like something like half of the gold cards that were minted last week were minted by bots. That would be my guess. Maybe a little bit less depending on how many new players there were, but it certainly was a lot of bots. So, despite that, though, I mean, you'd think that'd be bad news, but really, it's just proof of how incredibly strong this market is right now. That's because despite the huge increase in bots and the huge increase in the number of cards available on the market, the average gold card buy price still went from $38 all the way up to $42. So a huge percentage increase for just a one. That's just over one day. And if we go over the whole week, we're looking at $32 all the way up to $42, which over 25% increase in one week for the average gold card buy price. So pretty impressive that that can happen when the crypto market's kind of depressed and when bots are flooding the market with gold cards. These gold card prices are looking so fucking strong. It's not even funny. So I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is a bit of an anomaly with set aid. Right now, the average price for a card that was minted during set 8, so that was 2 weeks ago or two rotations ago, is under $20. There's no other set that even comes close to that. The next lowest one is probably something like set 7 or set 2 at $26. So huge decrease for some reason in set 8 cards. I don't think it's justified based on the mints because actually most of the cards from set 8 were right around 1,000 mints, somewhat even less than 1,000. So those are looking pretty cheap right now for somebody who's looking for a bargain. They especially look cheap when you look at them in comparison to set 9, which, like we said, had a huge bump in the number of mints and yet still managed to hold a pretty solid average price of over $27. Now, a lot of that's due to Feronis, of course, but still, it's worth noting just how cheap set 8 was in comparison. Just for those who are curious, I guess set 8 is going to be the one that includes Electric Eel, Stride Strike, Extinction Event, Rumbo, Seer's Mask, VLA, Cloud Kid, and Lightroom. So those are all pretty cheap right now. I'm looking to pick some up, I know, later this week. The other thing I wanted to talk about as far as the average price of sets goes is that set 5 continues to pull away. For a little while, it was looking like the average price of a card from set 1 and the average price of a card from set 5 were going to be neck and neck. But over the past week, we've seen set 1 price average go from around $50 to around $68. A huge increase, mind you, but nowhere near as huge as the way set 5 popped off this week. We went from an average gold card buy price of 42.59 to more than double. We actually 2x'd the average buy price for a card in set 5, which is pretty damn impressive. We'll see if we can keep that up for the next week, but for now, it's looking like set 5 is definitely the place to be. One other thing I'll mention about averages is the average price of units relative to the average price of spells. Now, units have always cost more than spells on average. That's something we've pointed out on this channel multiple times. But it seems as though that gap is continuing to widen. I don't think it can sustain itself forever because spells are an essential part of the game. But for now, it seems like people still want units way, way more. And I can understand why units look cooler, and a lot of times they're more expensive. They're higher on the mana curve, which can demand a premium in USDC, I suppose. But again, spells are relatively cheap, so if you're looking for bargains, that's maybe something to look into. And on that note, I guess we'll finish the video with a quick mention of what I think is the deal of the week, and that's going to be Gold Brimstone. Sure, he looks pricey at 74.7, but this guy, he only has 464 mints. He's one of the strongest cards in the game. He's so versatile, and he's a low cost unit. So you're always going to probably get to play him and show off that gold card. He also gives you a gold burn to crisp in hand. So you're kind of getting two gold cards for one. And he's set 5. As we were saying, all the cards from set 5 are popping off right now. I think they're going to continue to pop off because it's the rarest set in the game and probably always will be. I think the only reason Brimstone is a bit undervalued right now in terms of his buy price is for two reasons. Actually, not just one, but it's two. So the first is that he's in strength. Strength right now is not favored among the hardcore Skyweaver players. It's kind of out of meta. It's kind of, strength is played. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's privileged as much as the more control prisms in like wisdom or intellect right now. So I think strength cards are on a bit of a discount. And the other thing is he's a low mana cost. For whatever reason, people like to spend big money on the big bombs, and they see this low mana cost and they think he's not as valuable. Me personally, I think the lower mana cost you get better value because you're going to be playing him more often in more games, probably. So you get to show him off more often. For those reasons, I think Brimstone is probably the deal of the week. I know I'm going to try and pick up one if I can get my hands on one. And I recommend anybody, especially if you don't already have one, I recommend doing the same because I see this guy only going up. But we'll see. I'll come back next week on Monday and we'll see if my prediction came true. But right now he's at $75, and I think next time we come back next week he'll be over 100 for his buy price. All right. Well, I think that's going to end it. Hit the like button if you liked the video, and if you didn't, well, too bad YouTube doesn't have this like button anymore. So, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and I guess that'll probably do it. I don't think there's anything else to add. Okay, this is really a bad ending of the video. Oh well. Okay, peace out.